Hi friends, it's Aunt Josie here, and I'm here today to show you how to write a postcard. And that sounds pretty simple, but I work in the summer camp office and I have seen firsthand how many of you might not know where the address goes on a postcard, or what stamp to use, or what you can even consider to be a postcard. So I thought I would share a little bit about that with you today. Writing postcards is one of my favorite things to do. I like to write them to my friends and family who live far away, and sometimes even my friends and family who live a little bit closer. I just think it's a really wonderful way to let people know that you're thinking about them and you care about them. So I have here a couple of different kinds of postcards. Some of these you may recognize from the Camp Fowler store, pretty standard. And then I also have a couple of postcards that I made. So this one, I used some duct tape, many uses for duct tape. And this one, which I did some writing on because I thought it was pretty funny. And then on the back, I've written postcards. So like I wrote one to Aunt Nicole and to my grandma and to my friend from college. So here's an example of the back of a postcard. And if you look at it, this over here is where you would write your message. The top left-hand corner, you always want to include a return address. In this case, it's printed for you because it's a Camp Fowler postcard. And then over here, you want to put the address. You want to make sure you write it really clearly. In the first line, you do the person's name. The second line, you do their street or their house number or their apartment number, and then their street name. If they have an apartment also, you would write that right afterward. And then on the third line, you do their city with a comma followed by the state abbreviation and then the zip code. Sometimes it's hard to fit the zip code on the same line, so you can just write it right underneath. And then the stamp would go right up here. Some postcards will have a square for the stamp, some of them won't. Which brings me to postcard stamps. So here I have two stamps, a postcard stamp and a regular stamp. Not a lot of difference, pretty similar size. If you look really closely, the postcard stamp will say postcard on the bottom. That one this year, 2020, cost 35 cents, and a regular stamp will cost 55 cents. So if it's a postcard without an envelope, so just the piece of paper, it's a postcard, that's what would make it a postcard. You only need one of these postcard stamps. You could put a regular stamp on there. They're not gonna not deliver your letter, but you'd be paying about 20 cents more than you need to just for a postcard. Keep in mind that if you're mailing a regular card, so a card in an envelope, you'll need one of these bad boys, which is a regular stamp. And again, you put it right in the top right-hand corner, just like that. Sometimes you make it on the square, sometimes you don't. So you can use a postcard that you might have at home. Sometimes people collect them when they travel. You could write a postcard on one of those. Or if you don't have one, you can take some thicker paper, like some cardstock or something like that, and make your own postcard. You want to make sure your postcard is no bigger than 4 by 6 inches. The thickness of the paper is pretty important. You don't want to just use a piece of printer paper or something like that, because when it gets put in with all the other mail, that's going to get pretty crinkled up. And then you go outside and put them in the mailbox. Come on, shake, shake. Keep in mind that people who work for the Postal Service are still working right now, and they're the ones who are allowing you to send these postcards in the first place. So maybe next time you see your mail delivery person, give them a nice smile and a thank you. I would invite you to write 3 postcards this week. Find 3 people. Maybe it's a grandparent or an aunt, an uncle, cousin lives far away. Maybe your friend or your teacher who you're missing from school. Maybe people in a nursing home near you who don't get a lot of visitors lately. Maybe us here at the office. We'd love to hear from you. A postcard from you could really make someone's day in a time where we could all use a little extra smile.